Okay, so good morning, everyone. We are starting our 16th day of our industrial program. So today we have two speech. One is from our teacher Moumita ma'am, and another is second one is from Professor S.N. Singh from IIT Kanpur. The first of is on the human values and ethics. So the topic name is human values and ethics. It will be discussed by Professor Moumita Sadhu ma'am. So I would request first Moumita ma'am, please start your session. Hello ma'am, we are not audible. We cannot listen to you actually. So there may be some technical issues. So please be patient. We will be starting soon.
Good morning, students. Thank you, sir. There was a technical problem, so that the session has been late. Wait a minute, let me share my screen. Is my screen is visible, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Today I am going to share you some views and about the human values and professional ethics. Why is it required in our engineering course? Why we study and what are the essence behind the human values and professional ethics? Now today I am going to describe and discuss some of the criteria, some of the perspectives. So you can observe my first slide. On the left hand side of my slide, I have given one picture, isn't it? So before introducing this topic, I would like to say, just observe the picture and just have a look. What are the segments? There are so many leaves, isn't it, on the tree? And those leaves resembles some, look, there is written persistence, patience, encouragement, then parenting, civic sense, gratitude. Likewise, so many things, leadership, unity, learning, forgiveness, sharing. These are the basic units you can observe, like cell is our basic units in our human body. Likewise, these are the single basic units of this vast subject name, that is your human values and professional ethics. Now, I would like to discuss the scope. That is, the engineering is changing science into valuable products for human comfort, isn't it? Nowadays, now ethic is the ability as well as the responsibility of engineer to judge his decision from the context of the general well-being, isn't it, of the society. The ethics means what? That is the for the general well-being of the society. Now we are the engineers. We have the prior responsibility for our society. If a person is a doctor or engineer or judge or barrister, he or she may be from any background, but he has to contribute to its society ultimately, isn't it? So we should know what ethics means. Now it is the study of moral issues that confront. It is the study of your choice taken, isn't it? Whatever the choice you are going to make, the decision you are going to make, on the basis of that, your human values, your ethics will be predicted and will be determined. Now, just go through my second slide, that is the objectives of professional ethics and human values in engineering. Now, to understand the moral values that ought to guide the engineering profession, resolve the moral issues in the profession, isn't it? What do you mean by this thing? Actually, whatever the values we have, we learn from our childhood. What are the moral senses? Means honesty is the best policy. Then so many moral stories we learn, isn't it? In the moral science subject, under the subject of moral science. In our school days, we used to have a subject like moral science. Then there you used to read the stories. Now, from those stories, whatever the knowledge you have gathered, as well as your civic sense has grown up to this time, these are all, you can include it as a moral values. Now, when you have to implement all this thing, you have to implement all this thing in the service of the society, then you will understand what is the essence of the ethics is underlying under the human values. Now, to justify the moral judgment concerning the profession means you are the engineer, but you are going to join any organization after passing out from here. Now, after joining that organization, whether your ethical sense is good or not in the particular profession, that will be judged. Now, next is the intent to develop a set of beliefs, attitudes, and habits that engineers should display concerning morality. Now, in our day-to-day life, we have seen the doctors. Now, I'm giving one example. Some doctors are there who even don't take the payments from the poor people. I have seen in my life that they give charity, but as they have some ethical senses, some human values they have, and they contained in it within themselves, and in the reflection of their human values, we can salute those doctors, even the army people, isn't it? On the basis of their characteristics reflection, we salute those people as they are serving our society on the basis of humanity ground. Now, but if you look after the doctors who are just purchasing, you can say, who are just they are just deploying the people. Okay, they are just deploying the people. They are just taking the money. They are not looking after the financial crisis of a particular family, or they are not looking after any unethical means they are opting for treating the people or not. They are not looking about all these factors. They are going ahead on behind of earning the money. Then what we say, it is unethical. Sometimes it becomes. Now, that's why I am telling you, you are going to be engineer. Now, when you will be developing some projects, you are going to invent something in our near future, we hope so. Then at that time, if you don't think about your society, if you don't think about the values, and you are just giving your service, you are just making your auction, you can say, you are just auction your service, then what will happen? One day it will come to you. It means it will return back to you, and you have to face the same problem. I'm not telling that you will be facing, I'm not fixing this thing, but I'm telling you that it may return on your fate. So you should have some human values to carry within yourself. That means, look, I have written to inspire moral and social and loyalty. Now, to appreciate right of others. Right of others means there will be a point of sharing. Then you can say, suppose you are working in a professional culture. At that time, you should know how to behave with your colleagues, and what are the criteria, what are the prioritization factors are behind to collaboration, within the collaboration of within the peer group. You should know all these factors. Now, I am here not to only deliver one directional, means unidirectional lecture over here. I would like to know what are the point of views you have within yourself about the certain vast topic, that is the human values and professional ethics. Now, I would like to say, please come up one by one and just share some views for 1 and 2 minutes with me. What do you think? Praveen Mahato is there, Akash Kumar, so many persons, no? Saurav Kumar. Do you have, before proceeding to my other slide, I would like to know about your point of views regarding this topic. Please, anybody want to share? Nobody wants to share. This is a boring topic, isn't it? But it will pay you later on when you are going to join the organization. When you will be recruited in any organization, it is the basic thing which you will be requiring in the daily basis. On the daily basis, you will be requiring these factors. Because the jobs are challengeable and attrition rate is high. So withstand in the market, in order to withstand in the market, you require this thing. This is very basic thing. Okay. Now, human values. Now, you will see on the right hand side of your screen, there is one diagram I have drawn. And the human values, about the human values, it has been written that values are our guidelines for our success, our paradigm about what is acceptable. Now, human behavior depends on the characters, defining the identity, choosing the values, and establishing the beliefs. Human values include morals, integrity, peaceful life, respecting others, honesty, that is your truthfulness, trustworthiness, caring, kindness, then courage. So many things they have given. Now look, this is one diagram which I have depicted. On the right hand side, you can observe that I have given self-transcendent, and then there's a care, harm, then purity, sanctity, then you can observe the fairness, reciprocity. Now, what are these all about? Now, do you know the meaning of benevolence? Bene means good. Anytime you will find the word bene, that means it is good. Now, benefits, isn't it? You have heard about the word benefits. Now, I would like to say benevolence means your kindness to others, or you can say what kind of good things you can do for others. That is your benevolence. That is your benevolence. Now, there another purple segment you will follow, that is written is universalism. Universalism is what? Anybody would like to say about universalism? Universalism is what? Now, is the philosophical and theological concept that some ideas have universal application and or acceptability. Isn't it? That is called universalism. That means the sun rises from the east is universalism. You cannot deny that sun sets in the west and rises from the east. You cannot deny it. That is universalism. Now, you will see that you can see the arrow, upward arrow, that it is written self-transcendent, isn't it? The fairness, reciprocity, and then care and harm. If your benevolence will turn into malevolence, malevolence means your attitude will be bad. If your attitude will be bad, then degree or the propensity of that benevolence will turn into harm, isn't it? So at that point, you can say that you are reaching harm to your society or other people. Now, On the next side, you will look that conformity, tradition, and then security. Security. That is what? Suppose you are not loyal. You are not loyal towards your company. Then what will happen? It will diminish the goodwill of the company in order of the competitors or the rival companies. Okay. Now, if you disclose some confidential matters to the other competitive or the competitor companies, that means rival companies, what will happen to your company? That means you are losing, means they are losing the faith on you, and on that time they are losing the security. They are losing the security. Now, next is what you will see, the purple segment. This is the purple segment. The purple segment has been referring the self-transcendent. That is what? The overcoming of the limit of the individual and self and its desire in spiritual contemplation and realization. That means when you understand what is universalism and benevolence, and just turning into your east side, look, it is written aversion to change. When it will be changing, that is the security. When you are losing the loyalty, and in group it is written, look, conformity and tradition. Conformity and tradition, you know how to follow your own tradition. Now, tradition also varies from place to place, from demographic area changes, or sometimes the country, that is when you will change the state or the nation. In the broad aspect, we specifically signify the word state with the country, not with our rajya. What do you call the state as rajya? We actually, on the broad aspect, we consider the word state to the country. Now, this thing, what happens when you are aversion to change, at that time you will understand your conformity and tradition when you are changing day by day, okay, or some people to people. Then at that point of time, you are changing. There is an aversion to changes happening. Now, at the same time, when you come downward, that is to your south direction, you will find power and achievement. Now, we are very much aware of these two terminology, power and achievement. Power means what? If you have any delegation, any authorization in your organization, you have certain power with your particular diligence, with your particular diligence. And you, I think you don't know all terminology. What are diligence? What is the diligence means what? Suppose you have given a designation. Okay. Under that particular designation, some power will be allocated to you so that you can use for your administration. That is your diligence. Now, that is your power actually. And achievement is what? By using those powers, when you achieve something in your organization, it may be the enhancement in your designation, or it may be some efficacy of the sales has been increased, it may be result of some inventory management, isn't it? Now, there are several aspects in your organization. You will understand you can achieve something, and it It starts from individual, then it grows up into the team, and ultimately it is a teamwork's achievement, and it will reflect your individual achievement also. Likewise, you can understand the self-enhancement. Look, the self-enhancement I have given, that is on the basis of individual perspective. On the basis of individual perspective, I have written it. Now, next is the look, green segment I have given, hedonism. Hedonism means what? The belief that pleasure is the most important thing in life, a way of life or behavior that shows you have this belief. That means कभी कभी लगता है हम लोग को जैसे जीवन में सुख ही सबसे महत्वपूर्ण मानने वाले विचार है, isn't it? But you will see sometimes it may not be. Hedonism is the fact that there is a kind of a belief that the pleasure is the most important thing in our life, but it may not be sometimes. For the sake of your organization, it may not be persisting in the right way. Now, you have to understand, you have to value it, you have to measure your own perspective for the sake of your organization. Now, next look in the light orange color segment, I have mentioned self-direction and stimulation. That is openness to change. That is what? Now, openness to change. That means what? Stimulation, you know, sometimes stimulation means what? Anybody can say, what do you mean by stimulation? Please, student, be interactive. Otherwise, I cannot understand. I am giving a speech, like a speech. I am delivering you the lecture. But it should be interactive. The session should be. Anybody? Praveen Mahato, are you there?
An environment which looks like real, feels like real, stimulation.
Your voice is not clear. Please pardon.
Any artificial environment which looks real and feels real can be called as simulation.
That is simulation, and I have mentioned look, stimulation. Yes, you are absolutely right if you describe simulation, but I have written here stimulation. What is the meaning of stimulation?
Means encouragement.
Ma'am, excitement.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes encouragement, sometimes appraisal, sometimes you can say praising anybody, sometimes defaming also. It may got stimulation. Now, stimulation means what? Suppose any incident is occurring. Now, on the occurrence of particular event or incidents, if any effect is affecting you, if any effect is affecting you, that is a great deal which relate with stimulation. Now, in a biological sense, if you say, what does stimulation is? Suppose you have hurt by a ball suddenly, okay? Then you will express ooh, like this, or sometimes you have a cut on your finger, then you will express, oh my God, isn't it? Like this we express, that is the point of stimulation. Likewise, in organization, if any incidents will occur, then what will happen? Now, that will affect your individual value, then at that time being it is called as stimulation. If it is a good effect, if the effect is good and it is not affecting you, it is affecting you, then it is okay. It may be enhancing your career, it may be enhancing your progress report, it may be anything else. That is the openness to change. That means some kind of change is going to happen in near future. Now, next is self-direction. Self-direction is what? Suppose you are going to give one exam. At that time, what we do, we make a schedule, we make a routine of what to study from the morning to the evening. We are making some particular, allotting some times for the particular and respective subjects. At that time being, we say we are directing ourselves by making a particular routine. That is the self-direction in the student life. Now, in the company, in the organization, what will happen? What do you mean by this self-direction? Now, suppose your boss or the supervisor has given you an assignment, and that particular assignment or a project, how you are going to complete within that predetermined time frame, what will happen? You have to direct yourself to complete it, because the supervisor or the boss or the manager, they will not come every day to you to poke you. You do it like this way, that way, then you have to follow first step, second step. No, not at all. Sometimes the protocol will be provided to you and sometimes not. So what you have to do, you have to understand, you have to make your own criteria or the prioritization on the basis of which you are going to perform that particular project. Now, at that time being, you are doing self-direction. You are doing what? Self-direction. Again, if you combine these two orange segments factor, you will find the openness to change. Am I clear to you, student?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you finding it any interesting? I think it is a boring. I also think this human values and professional ethics subject is boring. But you can make it interesting if you see this thing that it will happen in your near future when you are going to join the organization. You will find this thing as interesting. Now, nextly, wait, why it is not changing? Let me change the slide. Yeah. Now look, this is I have given, that is a professional ethics. Now, professional ethics is what? You can see I have introduced one staircase for you on the left-hand side of your screen. Now, as we know, ethics is an activity which concerned with investigation of moral values in moral issues. As far as the engineer is concerned, he or she should have an ethical as well as social responsibility to himself. What I have told you earlier, all these things I have mentioned. Now, you will see now on the first staircase, that is on the first stairs, it has been written that introduction to morals means what is moral, how do moral impact our life, how do moral impact our profession. Now, these are the three criteria under the introduction to morals. Now, what are those? How you are going to jot down all these things? This will come when you will be under the organization, suppose ABC, private limited or public limited, whatever it may be, public, private, whatever the organization you will be, but you have to follow all these factors when you have to be a professional person. So, look, what is a moral? We all know about it, but we don't value it. That is a factor. So, you have to jot down what on the context of what? On the context of your own core competency, professional skill under that particular context. Suppose a person is from biotechnology, he is going to frame the morals, all these things according to that particular field. You are from, suppose, mechanical engineering, that particular person is going to frame his or her moral or all these things according to his or her background context. Am I clear to you people? Now, then the introduction to ethics. Look, what is an ethics? What determines a person's ethics? That particular person ethics may be different from one person to another person. But moral, you cannot differentiate. There is some points that scales will be changing on the variation from one individual to another individual. The ethics may change, but moral doesn't change. Okay. Now, so you have to again jot down what is an ethic. Not the definition, what is ethic, but what are the assignments you have been given on that particular basis. What is the ethic, underlying ethic, under that particular assignment, you have to jot it down. What determines a person ethics? That particular person will judge himself or herself what determines his ethics. And who's right? Who's right means so many options has been given or so many opinions has been given. Suppose under a meeting, under any collaboration, anything else, then at that time you have to understand which person is telling right, which person is telling in the different direction, which person is taking the decision in a good manner. You have to judge at that time because you have to complete the project according to the accomplishment given by your project assignment. Am I clear? That is the introduction to ethics. Now, third is introduction to professional ethics. Now, it will be giving pressure on your particular profession. On your particular profession, what their judgments are there, then personal perspective, what you are thinking about that particular ethics, you should write it down. Whether it is giving, paying anything to the society, contributing to the society or not, it is for the well-being of the society or not, you have to judge. You are inventing one engineering product, suppose, but it is not for the welfare of the society. You want to just make them a slave, then it is good, not a good thing, isn't it? Okay. Now, next is, look, I have given that implementing professional ethic as a standard. Then professional code of conduct. What do you mean by this professional code of conduct? Professional code of conduct is what? Now, suppose in the organization, there will be given every time a protocol, maximum time in the case, they will be giving you a protocol. And on that basis of, on the basis of that particular protocol, you have to consider all the surrounding factors of that protocol mentioned in the protocol, and as per that you have to conduct your particular project. In that case, you will find some professional code of conduct. As per that, you have to perform the project or the assignment. That is the professional ethics as a standard. That means what? For every organization, there will be a benchmark given to you. As per the benchmark, as per the standard, you have to perform in order to reach what we say up to the finished products. Here, what will you tell? Now, as per your finished assignments. Now, going beyond means instilling ethics in the workplace, building a plan, isn't it? That is a big factor. That is a big factor. Now, after instilling your professional ethics, how you are going to work on it? After instilling that particular ethics you have developed, after inculcating and culturing within yourself, then you will understand that how all are reacting with you. You will get a feedback after instilling. You will get a feedback means if you are making good relationship with the authority, you will pay, they will pay back to you as having a good relation. Now, wait a minute. I will be just considering some lack of time. Let me say a few words on it. Where do we stand today? Now, where do we stand today? That means what? At the level of individuality, at the level of family, at the level of society, at the level of nature. I'm going to show you there is a rising problem of depression on the level of individuality. Then psychological disorder, suicide. So many students are facing these things, stress. Even in the work culture, if somebody has been pressurized, they are committing suicides, they are going through the stress, insecurity, health problem. Due to this job aspect, these problems are arising day by day. But there are so many ways to manage. There are stress management programs. You can join those programs or you can manage it yourself, because before the introduction of management, there were people who used to work, there were work pressure, everything was there. But still, I am telling you, you have to, if you manage all these means criteria within yourself, then this problem can be mitigated. Next is at the level of family, you can say breaking up joint family, mistrust, insecurity in relationship, divorce, legal units, all these coming under at the level of family. At the level of society, there is terrorism, casteism, wars between nations, fear of nuclear and genetic disorder, so many things at the level of society. Now, at the level of nature, we are telling global warming, then resource depletion, minerals and oils, isn't it? Then the water, soil, noise pollution, and loss of fertility of the soil. Look, we are being inhumane in nature. That's why this nature is showing us so many problems towards us. So we have to moderate, we have to regulate, and we have to look after all these factors in order to give some contribution to our society. So at last, in the conclusion, I would like to say that ethics is certainly one of the most important requirements of humanity. Furthermore, without ethics, the world would have been an evil and chaotic place. Chaotic, you know the means of chaos, that is the chaotic place. Also, the advancement of humanity is not possible without ethic. There must be widespread awareness of ethic among youth of society, but you should remember your human values, which will reflect honesty and truth and focus on the ability to make the right and just decision. Just decision means on time you have to give the decision. That's all, my dear students. If you would like to ask any question, you may have your query.
Yeah, students, if you have any question, you can ask to ma'am. Okay, if not, then yeah, if not, then I would like to thank Moumita ma'am for your this valuable and interesting talk on human values and ethics. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, students.
Yeah. So our next speaker is Professor S.N. Singh from IIT Kanpur. Professor Srinivas Singh, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, sir. Okay, so Professor S.N. Singh obtained his MTech and PhD in electrical engineering from IIT Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur in 1989 and 1995. Presently, he is a professor, HEG professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Kanpur. And before joining IIT Kanpur,